All right, y'all. And we're back with another one. So welcome to It's Pudding's Tea, y'all. Season 4, episode 8. Him. And I'm your wonderful, beautiful spirited, I would like to say. Give myself a few nice words, a little shout out there. I'm your beautiful host, Pudding, of course. And with me, y'all already know what time it is. Y'all know who I got with me, right? Y'all know who my co-host is? Well, if you don't know, let me introduce him to you. My beautiful co-host, the victorious, the productive, the flourishing, Mr. Curry. Y'all get it up for Mr. Curry, y'all. Y'all get it up
What's
for Mr.
good? What's
Curry.
good? How everybody doing? We're
Ow,
back for another
ow!
one.
We're back for another one. So, y'all, we're doing our pretty much, you might as well say, I don't know if I'm gonna call it like parts. I did yesterday. I did the last episode. Um, but it just because I think I might make it more of a thing to do this and bring it up. Because I'm really starting to enjoy this as far as looking into all these different like lanes as far as wellness goes and
Right.
just health and diseases. Like I've been learning a lot the past 2 or 3 days. So welcome to wellness awareness, y'all. And today's topic for wellness awareness that's the title is disease, right? And so the first thing to me that's all ever since I was a kid, the first thing that always popped out to me, and that one word, a lot of words, especially when it comes to the health profession, really doesn't like quite make sense or dawn on you the meaning of them. But I think that's just straight to the point. It's a dis-ease. Like it's
It is the
uncomfortable.
most it is the most straight to the point word
Yeah,
that one can think of. Like dis-ease.
ease. Like for real. All them words, them big words and weird and extra words that they have as far as under the what I would call the health category. Out of all of them, like I don't even know how they come up with the names of these diseases and stuff. I don't know. But y'all know I be tripping over words. I try my best. In my head, I can say them great in my head. Just out loud, it gets kind of difficult sometimes. But I think for the most part, we're safe today on this list. I think. I think. Um, Let me see. Do we have any? Just looking over right now. I think we're good. I think y'all will be able to keep up with me on this one. So anywho, all right. So let's just jump straight into the first one, shall we?
All right.
Okay. So listen, this one right here shocked me a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. And mind you, I'm not easily shocked, y'all. I'm not easily shocked, but this one right here kind of shocked me. Um, I ain't gonna lie. This kind of ties into the pool one as well. That one shocked me. So this one here, heart disease kills more people per year than cancer, war. Listen to the words I'm saying now. Cancer, war, terrorism, uh, anger, suicide, diabetes, respiratory diseases, mental disorders. All of those combined.
I'm about to say
Combined.
the list still going?
Yeah. And mind you, respiratory diseases and mental disorders have their own things that fall in line underneath them. So that's multiple as well.
Of all the things, like I thought you were gonna say like two or three things.
Right.
You
Like,
just said like six or seven.
like the
And
flu or no,
right.
more than cancer. War? More than war?
More than war, more than
Terrorism,
terrorism,
anger,
anger,
suicide, diabetes, respiratory diseases with an S, mental
mm,
disorders with an S. All more than them combined together.
mm, 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 mm.
More than them combined together. Do you have any idea how many people that is? That's a
That's
lot.
like
And that's just heart disease. That's just heart, that's just the heart.
that's
Heart
like saying
disease.
like one person out of everybody that you see within every 5 minutes is safe.
Yeah, yeah, I can agree with that. I most definitely can agree with that. That's a lot. That is a
That is a lot.
lot. So
More than war
I'm like,
and terrorism.
shouldn't we be like working on that? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying, shouldn't we? First of all, that's why I love the fact that we decided to do this because you really need to be more aware. If you're listening, this is for you, and I need you to pass this on to a friend and make sure they pass it on to a friend because we really be sharing stuff that we really need to know these things. Like, bro, I did not know that. Like, seriously? Because mind you, it's been people that of course like that have passed from some type of heart something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually one of our classmates passed away not long ago. Maybe well, it might have been a year, maybe. And he was my age. He was our age, and he used to work out and everything, but he still passed away from heart problems, right? And so he's not the only one though. He's just the only one I'm going to mention right now.
Right.
But I've known multiple people, right? And it's like you really don't think about it because it's not happening in like a huge number like around you. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't happen often around you, but it's like once you really sit and think about it, you know somebody, and you probably know someone who knows somebody that passed away from some type of heart thing. And I think we've gotten so used to it that we haven't really actually thought about like something needs to be done about that. Like
I
what?
know I haven't thought about it.
Because it's like something needs to be done about it. Like at the end of the day, it's not much you can do like once it happens. But I think we've gotten so used to it. It's like once you hear about it, you thinking maybe they were either born with it or something that they did to themselves. I don't think that's always the case. Like it's something else that first of all, like I said before, with the pool situation, it could be something going on. You know what I'm saying? Like just
Right.
something as mild as that, right? We
Right.
weren't even aware of. And we're gonna get into it's one other like little fact I have on here that kind of ties into number one. Um, as far as knowledge. Like we really need to know these things so we can prevent them. Cause I just don't see like how like if you really think about it, back in the olden times, the only thing we really heard that used to kill people were disease. Like and it came from the lack of something.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It came from the lack of
Lyme
something.
disease,
And all this other stuff. So yes,
swine disease.
that's how those. That's why you sound just like those people like on the documentaries when the man, the man used to talk like that. We be in school watching. It's stupid, but yeah, but I can yeah. So moving on to the next one, y'all. Okay, now this one was kind of funny to me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize. I don't mean no harm, y'all. And also remember that these are all things that I just researched on my own. Question everything, no matter the source. Go and do your own research, learn some things for yourself, make yourself more aware of certain things. Take care of yourselves out there, y'all. But I mean, no harm. It's just listen. I laugh at a lot of things. Okay, this one was kind of funny to me. Okay, I'm not saying it's funny. I'm just saying that I may giggle. Okay, so
I'm gonna tell you right now. I feel like I'm gonna laugh.
but sometimes bro, sometimes it just be me that finds stuff. Like I find so many, like it just makes me. I like to laugh, bro. I'm just a happy person, right?
I
But I'm
watch
also
Family Guy.
silly. I'm also silly, bro. The Simpsons, like, bro, y'all need if you don't watch The Simpsons or if you really don't pay attention to The Simpsons, please go and watch The Simpsons. Like they last 10 seasons, bro, has been on the money and it's been hilarious. Okay, but okay. So the second one, right? Going into the next one. When syphilis first came out, like it was an album, like it was an album. When syphilis first was discovered, I say it like that. I think that's better. When syphilis was first discovered, the English called it the French disease. The French called it the Spanish disease. The Germans called it the French evil. The Russians called it the Polish disease. The Polish called it the Turkish disease. The Turks called it the Christian disease. Listen, it's just it's like everybody was blaming each
Nobody's
other.
gonna take. No,
They called it look. Japanese was calling it the Chinese pox. Like
ain't nobody
it's
about to take
no
responsibility
one's responsibility
for this. Like,
for the
look,
disease. No
you got
one,
bumps showing up on your face, and
bro.
I could. I seen the pictures of that. I know what that looks like.
Like, bro, like, bro.
You got the Kevin Hart bum bump.
Oh my goodness,
Ain't
dude. Like,
nobody taking
listen,
responsibility for the bum bumps.
I was like, the only people. Hold, on, let me see here. The only people that didn't blame someone was the Spanish. That's it. Like, other than that, and there's no mention of like Africa or anything like that or any other. Yeah, that's it. But other than that, they was bouncing.
They playing hot potato with this one. Like,
Yeah,
nah, that ain't me, bro. That ain't me.
they didn't even throw it back on the person that accused them of it. They just throw it on somebody. They just kept passing. They really was playing hot potato. I thought it
You
was
gave
funny.
it to me. Nah, nah.
I thought it was funny.
That's buddy over here. Nah, nah. That's old girl over there.
But they
Nah.
kept blaming it. They kept blaming it. The French evil. They talk about Chinese pox. Like, bro. And that's all I have on that one, y'all. Cause they don't I couldn't trace it back and I didn't have enough time. Because I
Don't
started eating
nobody
out
got
and I
enough
did
time to
other
trace
stuff.
it back across the world.
So so I didn't. So you may want
Everybody
to
blaming everybody.
you can look a little deeper and see where it might have came from. That one, bro. I was laughing so
If you
bad.
find out where it came from, let us know because the rest of the world don't know.
Listen, but that's where that train takes you. Okay, when you go down that rabbit hole, that's where it's gonna take you. They all blame each other. That's where it's gonna take you. I was like, bro. Every time I went to another German's, okay, and you keep reading this in French, and then the Russians, I'm like, golly, I ain't
Ain't
never heard
nobody
nothing
about
like
to
that.
take that one.
Never heard that like that. Okay. So the next one. So during China's Ming Dynasty, I don't know why those two words make me so I like that. Some words just I don't know. It's like I can't explain it. Never mind. I think one of my one of my disorders is coming into play. But I like the words Ming Dynasty. I don't know why. But during China's Ming Dynasty, this gets a little trippy. They powdered the scabs like when people had smallpox. The people like because I guess they get little bumps or whatever, and it gets scabby. I
Hmm.
guess. They would take the scabs, they would powder them down, and they would blow the powder up people's noses to infect them, and it would actually make them immune to the disease. Now, the only tricky part about this is some of them still died, but but that's not funny. But it's like science back then, boy, when they was just figuring stuff out. OMG, I think that's what future people probably gonna say about us. But once they figured like that out, like they realized like we still end up losing less people by doing it that way. So there's like we prefer to lose 7% of people as opposed to 30% of our people dying. So they
So
decided
they
to just take
powder
that
it
L.
down
Yeah.
and hit you with the powder.
Yeah.
All right, you either gonna be okay or you about to die.
Right.
We gonna see what happens.
Right. That's it. It's like it's like you probably already have a big chance of catching it anyway type of situation. Cause, you know, going back then, bro, they really didn't have like ways of figuring out like how people getting this. The best you can do is stay away from the person that got it.
Yeah.
And then it's up in the air. Like we gotta remember though, this is back when man, like what was the other fun fact I had did a few episodes ago when the man was prescribing ketchup. Like, come on, like
Oh yeah.
like they was figuring it out. But to us, it may sound crazy because we know better now. If we was back
Right.
then, that probably would make sense to us too. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about the scales part though, bro.
Yeah,
Cause I
grab
don't
those little
care.
scabs and blow them in my face.
Yeah, cause I'm pretty sure no matter what generation I was born in, I'm probably still a germaphobe. Like,
I feel some kind of way about that.
I feel some kind of way. But you know what though? It depends. They probably didn't even know. They probably just thought it was just this powder. They probably called it like a vaccine or something, and told them or it was medicine or just a medical treatment. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really tell them people nothing like that back then.
Mm-mm.
And it's like, you're going to get it anyway. You might as well come and try to get immune to it. So I guess, which it kind of does make sense because they can keep an eye on you too. Because a lot of people die from being sick for a little bit too long and, the doctors not being able to catch it soon enough. So
True.
there's also that. But they ended up losing less people and a lot of people did become immune to it. So it kind of worked for them at that time. Okay.
Mm.
So moving to the next one, y'all. Um, this one, I always get stuck on the word possum. Why is there an O there? Why is it even there?
Opossum.
We must be saying it wrong. Just say it must be an opossum because there's no way that O is just there, my guy. Like,
The O is silent.
why is it there then? Take it. It makes no sense. What is it? A bodyguard? Like that don't make no sense to me for it to
Listen,
be there.
I didn't make the word. I just enforced the rules.
I know, teacher, Mr. Curry. I know.
I just enforced the rules.
But look, so possums kill about 96.5% of ticks that land on them, right? So one possum can kill up to like 4,000 ticks a week. And so by doing so, they protect us from Lyme disease. So
Pause, I'm
shout
gonna
out to the
say,
possums.
how?
Because they kill the ticks and they keep the ticks from getting to us.
How are they killing the ticks?
They eat them.
They eat them?
Yeah, they eat them. Like they get them off of them and they eat them. So they're pretty much like eating or inhaling, sucking up, whatever they do.
So you can get rid of ticks, but
With
you
a
can't
possum.
avoid the babies.
Stay away from the possums. Possums don't really like. I've seen, of course, staying in the country. I've seen possums all the time, but they don't really. They don't bother you though. I've never had a possum bother me. Like the last time I seen a possum, I was in the garage and I had opened the garage door, and I don't know who was most scared. I ain't gonna front. We saw each other, bro. He took off one way and I took off the other. Like we look crazy running from each other. I'm like, what
Oh
I'm
my
running from?
god.
He gone. Like I live here. Where am I going?
No.
Like, bro. So yeah, I mean, possums don't usually bother you. Like, I don't. Anybody that's been attacked by a possum, I'm not taking anything from you. You may feel different. I'm just saying, anytime I've ever ran into a possum, it's always like either ignored me or gone the other way. To be honest. But yeah, but they inadvertently are saving us from Lyme disease by getting rid of the ticks, which is it goes into well, I think it was Rashad Jamal that was talking about it, like how the animals. It was like I think polite. It's a I've been watching clips all the time, so I can't really keep up. But one of them was talking about how certain animals, like bees, and how everybody just plays their part. I know polite really was talking about it. I can listen to him talk all day, like he's so intelligent. Man, bro, I appreciate the knowledge he be dropping. Um, but like it's just certain things that come into play, like certain insects that you may not like or disagree with sharing this planet with, they really do play a big part. Like everything plays a part here. Like nothing's here for no reason. So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe in the ecosystem.
oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Like once I started realizing that everything was really truly connected, and you really do need everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, bees play a part in us getting oxygen.
Yep.
Like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of things that are important that we think are just nuisances, but they're not. Um, so yeah, so on to the next one. So this one here, okay. Um, and this kind of plays a part in that whole knowledge factor as far as like diseases and stuff like that. So they said the lack of toilets cost India about a little over probably a little over 50 billion, excuse me, $50 billion a year. The lack of toilets because of the premature deaths and hygiene related diseases. 50 billion. So I'm like, it shouldn't take but maybe $10 billion to provide toilets. Like, why y'all not provide? So y'all rather spend the money on people getting sick or having to bury
Right,
them
you rather spend the money on burying them than to put the money into
a toilet,
making sure that they got a toilet.
right? Or making sure that they have certain things. Like, I don't know how true that is. Um,
I
I
mean, like,
heard
don't
that.
get me wrong, like, I've never lived in India, so I can't speak for, you know, what they like what's the word I'm looking for?
Hygiene.
Well, not that, but their ergonomic system, if I'm saying that right.
It sounds right. It sounds about right. Like I,
Like
I know
I
what you're
can't
trying to
speak for
say.
like, the sewage system or how, the pipelines or stuff like that.
Right.
But I mean, it would make sense to me if possible, to put money into a place where people can get rid of their waste
Right.
in a way that's not going to kill them.
Right. Like but they know this. Like they know, in India there are a lot of slums. Right.
Right.
Like if you watch like I love America's Got Talent, bro. Um, so it was a dancing group on there called The Unbeatable. They're phenomenal. And they show like clips of where they were from and how things were in India and stuff like that. And what makes it so bad is like certain currencies go a longer way in
Hmm.
different countries. So I'm like, you do know that you can really donate from these different countries, right? And it doesn't have to be much because once it reaches their currency, it automatically triples. It automatically
Yeah,
triples. So why
yeah,
not? Why not?
that is true. I got a friend in the Philippines. I sent $50 and she sent me back a picture of her whole family having a Thanksgiving meal.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. Like so, cause like my one of my best friends, he's Indian. Like he's from India, right? And I met him when I worked overseas. And we sat and talked about certain things. It's just certain things like it depends on, of course, like anywhere else, it depends on the location. But for the most part, like you can build, man. Listen, boy, you will take money that you're spending every month and living in an apartment here
Hmm.
by 6 months. I say about 6 months worth of rent, you'll build a mansion over there.
Yeah, a whole mansion.
I mean, nice,
Tax
living
and
good.
like built all the way. You don't have to worry about paying taxes or nothing.
So it's like the only thing is like certain places you have to have citizenship or you have to be a actual citizen there. Depending on what location you go to, but sometimes your money goes. Listen, depending on the currency, man, you can save up here. For the only thing I would say that you would have to consider that I would advise anybody, even when you're just traveling or going on vacation, know the rules of the place you're going to, and if you don't know the language, make sure that especially if you're up and moving somewhere, make sure that they speak the language you speak, or you learning the language or something. Like you don't want that language barrier to come into play, and something takes place and you can't defend yourself, like or explain what happened type of situation. But other than that, you can live good in
Right.
these places. Like, and don't get me wrong, every other country is being taught English for the most part. But that's if because a lot of people that you don't see, either they choose not to speak English or they didn't have the means to get an education. But for the most part, they do learn English. So there's a lot of English speaking places that you can move to that are very cheap. But yeah, but they would rather. I like that's a lot of money, bro. Y'all can just do better for your people. I like I said, I don't know the economy. I don't know how that works. But reading it on paper is ridiculous.
But America would rather spend more of their money on guns and war.
Child, because there's more money. Because they get that money back. That's what that is. Because technically they ain't really spending much of nothing. The
Look,
only real
don't make me go
value.
down a rabbit hole because we are not rich.
We
We
ain't broke
we
either
have
though.
been no, we are broke.
We not broke.
We have
We
been
not broke.
owing
I don't think so. I don't believe it. I
we
don't
have
believe
been
it.
owing China for the
I don't believe that
longest.
either. I don't believe that. I
Oh,
think that's
it
a
is
front.
true.
I think it's a front.
Trillions of
I think
dollars.
it's a front. Because all
Look
my
it up. I'm
friends,
telling you, go down that rabbit hole. Look it up. We
I
are
have
broke,
gone down
and
that
we
rabbit
always
hole.
have been broke.
And I felt that way until recently. And I think it's all a scam. I think they scamming us and they want us to believe that we ain't got it. But I think we all got it. I think
Hmm.
every last one of
Okay.
us got it. That we're gonna have that debate on here
Yeah.
another
Yep. We
episode.
got to go down that rabbit hole.
Cause I really feel like it's a
America
scam.
brokety broke.
I think it's a sham. I really do.
It's just we don't have to pay up because we have a clause, and you know what? See, I'm going down the rabbit hole.
No, no, no,
Next.
no. Save it. Save that. That's a whole nother episode. The battle.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. Okay, so
Oh yeah.
on to the next on to the next one. Uh NFL players, they're more likely to get Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, or Lou Gehrig's disease. Um I, I I think boxers are like red. I think they may be number two, something like that, because I think that any trauma to the brain is what
Yeah.
causes that. So, and I know in NFL they take a lot of hits or they hit people. It's like those
Yeah.
helmets. I ain't gonna lie. I think the helmets, in some form or fashion, makes it worse because it's just like plastic to me. So I'm like, where's the coverage? Have you ever worn a football helmet?
Yes. I have.
Yes. If you've ever worn a football, I don't even think you have to understand the gist of the situation. Like it really doesn't protect the way you think it should. Not to me. Come like it should be some pads or something
It
in here.
reduces it reduces the impact,
But it's still
but
bad.
the jerking of your head is still there. Like the
It's still bad.
sudden jerk of your head is still there. And we have to keep in mind that our brain is surrounded by fluid. So when that sudden jerk happens, your brain is rattling around up there.
It
Play
is.
after play, quarter after quarter, game after game, your brain is just pop, 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 pop.
It's smacking up against your skull.
Hmm.
It's like having pills in a in a just shake a bottle of pills. Do
Yeah,
you
shake a
hear that?
bottle of pills.
Do
That's
you see what's going on?
that's your brain playing football.
Pretty much. So yeah, so I can most definitely see that.
Hmm.
Man, to make all that money at the end of your career and not be able to enjoy it because of one of these, it's kind of sad though, if you think about it.
It is.
So on to number 7. Now this is the one I was talking about. Number 7, it ties into number 1 as far as like the lack of education and how they just sometimes just choose not to tell us certain things. So number 7, AIDS, right? Um, like education or any knowledge about this was limited for political reasons, and AKA politicians said don't tell them because we doing such and such, and it's going to distract them, and it's going to intervene with what we got planned. That's pretty much how I took that. Um, but Surgeon General C. Everett Koop changed that when he ordered that every home in America be sent a letter explaining what AIDS were and how to protect yourself from AIDS. Like he pretty much said screw y'all. I'm not gonna keep this from these people no more because it's ridiculous. And so he had everybody receive a letter. So shout out to General C. Everett Koop.
I believe that if it puts a dollar in their pocket, I'm not going to say who they are. We already know.
We already know.
But if it puts a dollar in their pocket,
They don't care.
they'll keep anything from us.
They don't care. They don't care. Like it's whew.
There could be a monster standing right in front of you. A clear, a clear, obvious monster standing right in front of you. And as long as it puts a couple more dollars in their pocket, they will say, no, that's my cousin.
Right. Like they'll tell you anything. And who was that? I think it was how you say his name? Yaki. I think it was him that said. Yeah, it was him. He was like pretty much once you have people hypnotized, you can pretty much tell them anything or make them believe almost anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are very, very hypnotized by a lot of things. Like real talk. Question everything, y'all. 9 times out of 10, if
Everything.
it don't feel right, it's because it's not.
Yeah.
Or we just, I ain't gonna lie, I think it's to the point where they've tired people out so much so that it takes too much to even consider some of these things. And it's not until a big number of people realize it and it goes viral. Because the only thing people pay attention to nowadays is when something's viral for some
Yeah.
reason. It's like anytime something go viral, y'all, and you're like on any type of like social media, something or other, like if it has like if you're on a news page, especially if you're on a news page, whatever it is that's really being pushed or hyped up, search a few more pages over. Like go to page 10, 9, 11. Like go to the first 2 to 3 pages is BS. Like I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
that's
it's
all fabricated stuff that they know that you're gonna look at.
but
Go to
everything.
page 12 or 13.
Yeah, because that's what like that thing that they're trying to hide. Because see, to them, they're gonna tell you we did publish it, we did put it out there, we did notify y'all,
And truth is, they did.
and they
It's on
did.
page 12 or 13.
Like they know how to get around things. They know how to do these loopholes. They can never say they didn't tell us. They make a movie, they're like, we did tell y'all. You didn't
Hmm.
see it. Shit, Rotten Tomatoes gave it 90%. 90%. Shit, the movie theater, they blew up the box office. They made $9 trillion in that movie. You dress like the favorite character right now. So you gonna say you didn't know, and you watched the movie 5 times? You didn't know?
Don't act like you didn't know.
You didn't know? Y'all asking for the sequel. Y'all begging for a sequel. So we
Oh
told you.
man.
Yeah, that's exactly. Look, and then as soon as you gonna be ready to fight somebody that gaslight you like that, you mother, you gonna be ready to fight. Like, say for example, you're being cheated on, and your significant other makes a movie about them cheating on you. How you gonna feel? Like, if say you suspect that they cheating, right? Say you don't suspect it. If you sit and watch them make this movie, you gonna look at them like, what you trying? You trying to tell me something? Like, why would you make this movie? Like, where does this movie come from? Like, what gave you this
And
idea?
all they do is just stare at you.
Yeah, they don't say nothing.
They don't say nothing. They just
And then two
look at
years
you.
later, you catch them, and what they gonna say?
I made
I
a
did
whole
kind of.
movie
I
on
made a
this.
whole movie. I tried my best to tell you without. They're gonna make up some BS, but either way it goes, it's like it's in front of you, bro. Like what drove you to do this? That's like Jews. Jews is still on my mind because of how dry it was. Like, bro, they had to really been telling us something because there's no way they got away with that movie, bro. It was
They got
too
away with it.
it was too simple, and I think it was created that way to go over your head. It might have been a real actual event that they had to tell
Probably
us
so.
about. And that was the best way for them to tell us without telling us. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, who knows? Okay, so on to the next one, y'all. Let me see here who we got. What we got? Let me scroll down. Okay, so James Harrison. Okay, so James Harrison, he was a 13-year-old, and he needed like he had to have surgery, and this was a long time ago as well. Some of these are throwback. Um, well, most of these are throwback. So James needed 13 liters of blood for the surgery
Mm.
that he had to have, right? So after that, though, after everything was over and he made it through the surgery, everything was successful. He vowed that once he turned 18, that he was going to give blood, right? Because people that gave blood or that donated, they ended up, saving his life. So he was like, I vowed to donate blood. So he went to donate blood for the first time, and they run tests or whatever, do, and they ended up finding that he had a antigen, a very rare antigen in his blood. Now, for those that don't know what an antigen is, it's me and these words. I kind of tripped in the middle of that one. Anybody who doesn't know what a antigen is, it's like a foreign substance, right? That that's in pretty much that was in his blood. That well, it's a foreign alone it's a foreign substance that induces like a something in the immune system that helps your body respond. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much it's healing. Okay, it's a healing.
Right.
It's a healing substance really. Because I know hearing foreign substance is like, but it is foreign though because it's not natural. It's not naturally like in everybody. So he ended up being special, and so they found out that that particular antigen, what was it? I should have wrote the word down. Oh yeah, it's called rhesus. Rhesus. Well, Rhesus. It was a disease. So they ended up realizing his blood could cure that particular disease.
Huh.
And so he actually ended up donating like over 1,000 times, and they said he ended up saving over 2 million lives because of it.
That's wild.
Ain't that
I could
something?
only imagine how exhausted he's been after donating 1,000 times.
But I guess it's like after like over time, like he just
Right.
made it a thing because 13 liters of blood, that's a lot, bro. So he did have a lot of people, like it was a
I
lot of
mean,
people that ended up having
we were
to
just talking
donate.
about blood last episode. Like,
Right. So I was like,
we only
that's a
got so
perfect fit.
much.
Right. So 13, bro, he had to gather 13 liters. I don't even know how many people that is. Like, so he really like the one thing about him, he was very appreciative. So he decided to do the same thing. And I think it's magical. It's very beautiful to find out
It
not
is.
only can you give blood, but you're curing people of a disease.
Right.
So that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So yeah, so a few people came together to save this one life, and that one life ended up saving more than 2 million lives.
That's wild.
That's nice. Okay, so the next one, we got two more, y'all. So the next one, this one, I had to throw something a little interesting in there. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I
So
think they're all interesting.
but this one's more so you know like flies of fancy. It's what I call it. I don't even know if that's the right term for this type of stuff. Like the moon and the stars and
Hmm.
all that good stuff. The planet, the universe type of thing. I had to dip
Right.
into the magical bag. Um, Moon dust. Now it's so many. First of all, I gotta unpack this. We gotta unpack this. Okay, so as soon as you hear those first two words, you know it's about to get crazy. So moon dust, right? They say moon dust can cut through Kevlar like material. I don't know about you, but the only thing that's like Kevlar is Kevlar. I don't like they try to sneak. See, they be trying to word stuff because they be trying to let you know stuff and still hide stuff at the same time. To my Kevlar like, I guess like first of all, I'm assuming that they said that way so people don't just go out and get moon dust and can shoot people through bulletproof vests or whatever the case may be.
I mean, but
Um,
can't you only get moon dust from the
on the
moon?
moon, that's what I'm saying. So I'm
You
like,
can't just
why?
walk outside and just grab that.
Like, why so mysterious? Like, the people ain't selling moon dust. Like, is it on the black market? Like, hey, bro, like the way this particular article was written, it was funny to me. Um, because they still was like skating over certain things the way because I really pay attention to the way things are worded, but
Hmm.
anywho, but they said Kevlar like material, it can cut through that. But it's harmful to humans though. It causes a disease that's called moon hay fever. Never heard of it. Never heard of it.
This is the whole thing created by moon dust.
Moon dust.
Something that we cannot just walk outside and get.
So to me, that tells me I'm like, okay, they say as if this is an occurrence, but I'm like, to who? The scientists that like, bro,
You just took
everyday
moon dust,
people.
shattered it at Kevlar, and said, "Oh, it can cut through, and it's gonna create a disease."
But everyday people don't have why I think we pretty safe. I think we're pretty safe.
Nah, that right there tells you that there's a new weapon of. That right there tells you that there is definitely a new weapon amiss.
Like, cause I'm like, who got moon dust though? Like,
People who
who
can go to
has
the moon,
moon dust?
aka the government,
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
they are letting you
y'all.
know there is a new weapon amiss.
I'm like, y'all the only
And get
ones.
ready. We
Y'all
about
are
to
the
cut
only
through your
ones.
Kevlar and send you home with disease.
Chad, they been doing that. That's like in the movies. They been had those Kevlar piercing bullets and stuff like that. Like, so I'm like, dude, ain't none of us on the street got no moon dust to do none of that with, or to be
They're gonna
catching no moon hay fever.
they're gonna
Like,
put moon dust on their Kevlar bullets.
bro, when that was under diseases, I was like, what is this?
If you live, you could be moon diseased.
Because at first I'm thinking moon, okay, it must be. acronyms. Maybe it's MOON, and those each letter stands for. No, they mean the
No,
moon.
they
Moon
talking about the
dust.
moon.
Moon dust. I like that. I think
The
that's a
dust
problem
from the moon.
more for y'all than us. But it was on the disease list. Like it was potential for anybody. Who got? Okay, I'm gonna just leave that alone.
It's a sign. It's a
Huh?
sign.
Huh? Huh? Moon
Something's
dust.
amiss.
Moon dust. Okay, so the last one here that I have for you guys, um, fatal familiar insomnia. Fatal familiar insomnia. Why don't you guess and tell me what that one is and see if you can guess?
Fatal familiar insomnia.
Yes.
My family is driving me crazy.
No. No, try again. No, that's not it.
That's the best I got.
Okay,
My
fatal.
family is driving me crazy.
Okay, take familiar out and just have fatal insomnia.
I mean, to me, insomnia alone is fatal.
It listen,
Like, I hear
listen.
the word insomnia and I'm
Oh,
thinking I'm going crazy.
hmm, hmm.
And to me, if I'm hearing, insomnia means that I'm on the verge of going crazy,
Yeah.
and that sounds pretty fatal to me.
Like
And then if I
insomnia
throw
sucks. It really sucks.
familia in there, sounds like COVID times to me. Hey,
No.
everybody
So,
was suffering from fatal familiar insomnia.
bro, your brain works so different. You are strange. You are different. Some of the stuff you come up with, bro, like, where is this coming from? On top, you're such a man. You mansplain. You are such a
That's a
man.
mancer right
That's
there.
a man. We gonna start using that. We gonna, bro. Where did you get that from? Because if you listen,
That just came out of nowhere.
it's ours now. It's yours. You
It's
did
ours
that.
now. That
It's
that's
ours
a
now. It's a
mancer.
manser. From now on, you only give mansers.
I give mancers.
He gives me. That's ours. Oh, we're gonna have everybody saying that. We're gonna have everybody saying. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna write it down.
Oh,
I'm gonna write it down so I know we're gonna remember. We're gonna remember this. Like,
I'm gonna
I
copyright
got a
that one.
record. I
Get
got a
it on some,
record. Yeah, you
get it
need to
on
get
some
that
merch.
copyrighted. Yes. Oh, bro. Oh. So wait a minute. If we got Manser, I'm gonna have to come up with a female version. Makes sense. That's just it. We
It
make
could be a
sense.
black T-shirt that says "I got the mancer."
I got the Manser. Can't nobody take that from us, bro. That's ours now.
Nope.
Merch coming soon, y'all. Merch coming soon.
Trust.
With my face on the back of the shirt, like really. Cause you don't. Cause you don't. Okay. So fatal familiar insomnia. Okay, so this particular disease takes away your ability to sleep, right? And you end up
Hmm.
sinking into a horrible psychosis and you die over the course of a few months. Yeah, didn't know it was gonna get that deep, did you? Didn't know it was gonna take a turn. It kills you. That one kills you. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Takes away your ability to sleep. Because I think after what, how long is it that a person can stay up, I think, for humanly possible? Like 2 weeks? If that?
I want to say it's around like 2.5 weeks.
So with this particular disease, it's like it just you just can't. And you end up your body, I guess, eventually like because you have it's just one of those things, it's mandatory. You got to go
Yeah,
to
I
sleep
mean,
eventually.
yeah, you have to go to sleep eventually because
You
if you
just have
don't,
to.
you start suffering from sleep deprivation. And coming from somebody who actually has been there,
Bro. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
I've done it before, living in
Listen.
Alaska when the sun doesn't go down, and yeah,
Like when I first got insomnia, I cried because I'm a great sleeper. Like, and I have a wonderful time in my dreams. Like, I really like sleeping is activity to me. Like, like it's fun for me. So, and I've always been known to be able to sleep in any condition. Like if I'm
Mm-hmm.
sleeping, I'm going to sleep. Just period. Like sun up, sun out. Like it don't matter. It don't matter. But when I first started experiencing insomnia, I cried because I never had suffered from that before, and not being able to do that particular activity is depressing.
It's
Like it
it's
sucks
not
so bad.
fun.
It's so
It's
not fun.
yeah, like when you get to a point to where your brain starts taking micro naps, and then you get to a point to where you can't decipher whether that micro nap was reality or
Whether
part
you really
of
got
that
sleep or not.
dream. Yeah,
But
like
it,
like you start to see, like you would literally start to see things,
yeah,
and it would look crazy. Like it would be the most craziest things that you would
it's not
see,
fun. And it'd be like
and
flashes.
yeah, like quick flashes.
Like it'd be quick flashes. Like you really like, you know how in the movies how they do that when people are seeing people because they got some type of like they schizophrenic or whatever. You know how movies paint
Hmm.
that picture. That's how I feel. Like you will see something. It's almost like somebody ran by real fast, or just anything. Like sometimes, like one time before, and that's when I started taking melatonin, which kicked in late as fuck. Like, bro, it kick in when you don't want to sleep. Well, at least for me, because at this time everybody taking, the little, that green bottle, the little, the people
Oh
that.
yeah.
So look, so I'm like, oh, it's so cute and tiny, little melanin, little bit. I'm thinking this is a game, like, bro. I still couldn't sleep, so I started to panic, which made it worse, right? Because I'm like, when is it gonna kick in, bro? I could have swore I saw myself, like, because I had just came from the bathroom and I think I had to get something to drink or something like that. And it's like I saw myself go already, like start to walk before I got up to go get something to drink. That put me to sleep. Like it scared me so bad. I
Mm.
just put the covers over my head, bro, and just closed my eyes. I was like, I'm just gonna meditate, and then I end up falling asleep eventually. Like it scared me that bad. I had to like just lay down. Like it wasn't nothing I can do. I was like, I can't call and talk to nobody about this. I'm not even gonna look this up. Like it scared me that bad. Like it was trippy because it was like a 1.5 seconds. Like just a tiny vision of me like seeing myself doing what I was thinking. Like I was like, oh no, see, I can't do this.
I
I
had a
can't do this.
conversation with myself.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I just saw myself. You talking to yourself.
like we had a full-blown conversation,
Bro, at that point, I
and
had to go
then
see a doctor. I can't.
after that conversation was done, I walked out the room, and then I was still sitting in the room, and I sat
Oh,
there for a minute, and I was like, I'm going crazy.
but you know what I end up chopping it up to like because I ended up like because the melatonin wasn't really working for me, and eventually I was just like I'm just gonna give into it, and so I started like doing activities and started doing certain things that I would figure would make me tired, and at a certain point, what I started doing to ease myself into my saw those flashes I was like, you know what? I think I'm really just like dreaming. You know what I'm saying? Like I really feel like I'm because it feels like you're dreaming while you're awake at a certain point too. So I was
Yeah,
like, that's pretty much what it is. I'm like, so it's just that my body hasn't gone there, but my mind has.
your mind is already there.
My
Your
mind is
mind is
like,
gone,
I'm
but
traveling
your
whether
body
you
is
lay
still
down or not.
right. Your body is still moving.
It's
Like
still
I'm talking
functioning,
like
having
I would,
conversations.
yeah, like I would be in the grocery store, and 1 second like I'm on one end of the aisle, and then at the blink of an eye, I'm on the whole other end of the aisle, and I don't
Like,
remember
bro,
getting there.
like you really do feel like you're going insane. And so I ain't gonna lie, it worked for me. Like, so I actually ended up just sleeping during the day and being up at night. Cause that seemed to be the only time my body, cause I was forcing my body to stay up, but it's like it got to a point where my body was gonna go to sleep during the daytime, no matter what I wanted. So it's like when nighttime, so I would force myself not to sleep during the day, and then I was like, okay, so I've been up all day, so I'm gonna go to sleep tonight. Wrong. My body was like, well, we up now. You
Yeah,
missed your window of opportunity. My body was like,
once you miss your window, you
no,
are done.
that's it. You up
That's it.
until
You're
7
up.
o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. That is it. You should have
Mm-hmm.
went to sleep when I told you to. Like
And
I
now
pretty
we're
much
up.
let my body just do what it wanted to do. I just couldn't take it. I couldn't take it.
It's wild. It's a wild ride.
It don't feel good though. It feels icky.
It don't feel good at all. To me, it's scary because I've been on the deep side of this.
Bro, like
It's
sitting and talking to yourself, I couldn't do that. Like I couldn't
I was
imagine.
I was sitting up on the edge of my bed talking to myself, like looking at myself having a full-blown back-to-back conversation. And then I watched myself at the end of that conversation get up and walk out the door, and I was still sitting there on the edge of the bed. And I can't tell where my brain woke back up, quote unquote. Like, I don't know where the cutoff was, if that makes any sense.
It does.
I don't know where the cutoff was between my brain's micro nap and the awake reality of life. Because I just, like, as far as I could comprehend, I just had a full blown conversation with myself, and myself just walked out the door and left me sitting there on the edge of the bed. And I carried on with the rest of my day.
So it does make me it does make me wonder, right? Like that because you know this is it's a veil, right? It's a thin line between this, that, and the third. And when you have insomnia, I really think that you tiptoe between those veils because that's just the only thing that makes sense to me.
When we get into the brain, buddy.
Oh yeah, that's next. That's next up.
Mm-hmm.
I
The brain is something serious.
I just man, life is amazing.
We still have yet to understand the majority of what we carry and what guides us every single day. The brain. We know that we only use but a fraction of it. And
I
of
like
that fraction that we use, we have the ability or probability of going through things like this.
right,
So if of the portion of the brain that we actually do use, we can go through things like insomnia, sleep deprivation to the point to where you're you can't tell reality from a dream.
because it really gets real blurry, bro. When you have insomnia like that, like
It gets really blurry.
it gets
Like
super blurry.
the
Cause
lines are not there anymore.
cause you're like, I'm like, you sure we didn't? Cause it could throw somebody off. Cause it's like, you sure we didn't talk about this?
It throws your memories off.
Cause I'm like,
Your actual like lifelong memories get thrown off.
cause you really don't remember things the same. Like you really don't. Like it could create a memory, or it can
Right.
distort one. It could change one and leave you
Exactly.
leave you with the one that it changed.
You can
And
go the rest of your life thinking that this really happened.
yeah, real talk. And I'm like, bro, anytime I think of stuff like that, it always like falls back into the whole Loki thing. I'm like, am I time jumping?
It's wild.
Come like, did that really happen? But on a different, was I just on a different timeline?
It's really wild.
Am I still on a different time? Like, cause you never really. I mean, okay, let me tell you something that I noticed, right? Because uh, it was like, you ever heard of quantum jumping?
Yes.
Okay, so people like use the shower to quantum jump, right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I shit you not. So, and I pointed it out to a family member too when they had came to visit. So my shower, right? The hose. part of it. You know how it's metal and it's like a spring and it just twirl it coils a twirl.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What's a twirl?
It twirls.
It twirls. But anyway, so you know how it coils around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a spring. So, and it's like metal.
Mm-hmm.
So for the longest time in my memory, it's been that way, right? And so I remember like quantum, what I would assume is quantum jumping. Uh, I assumed that I did it right, and I was talking to my family member about it, and I was like, "Listen, I don't know, like it's just certain little differences that I've been noticing." And I had them when they came over. I was like, you've used my shower before," and they was like, "Yeah." I was like, and so you know how you ask somebody something first, so it don't seem like you're
Mm-hmm.
leading them to the answer that you're trying to hear.
Right.
So I asked them first. I was like, "Go in there," and because you it still looked that way. It still looked like that metal cold, it. But kind of listen, when I touched it, it's actually like all of that is like one like sticker. It's like a sticker or something. Like it's like a skin or something over, like a sleeve, and it is like I'm trying to explain this so it makes sense. I wish I could just show it to you, but it looks that way, but it doesn't. It no longer feels that way. But I remember it feeling that way and it being an actual like metal, like spring or whatever. I just
Right.
remember it being that way in my memory. So I asked them, and she was like, "You know what? I do remember that. Like, yeah, it's like that. Like most of them, right?" I was like, "No, it's not." I said, "It's like a plastic sleeve over it, and it just looks that way." She's like, "No, it ain't." I said, "Go touch it." I said, "Go touch it." She ran her hand down and she was like, "What the?" I was like, "Bro," I was like, but the thing is, when you quantum jump, I like it. Doesn't that mean that I jumped into a different timeline and whatever timeline I'm in, the people in that particular timeline not supposed to have the same memory I had from the previous timeline. So I'm like, technically, she wasn't even supposed to, but somehow, in other words, she really solidified it for me though. Like I was like, you remember the same thing I remember because I asked her first and she said it first, right? Before I
Mm-hmm.
even pointed that fact out. So I'm like, what? It was trippy. It was very trippy. So I'm like, that veil is extremely thin. I'm starting to even wonder if there is a veil. And if the veil is not something more so like physical or anything like that, I'm starting to think it's more mental. And that
I
certain
believe I
no, go
believe
ahead.
that the mental is way deeper than we think it is.
Right. I think we
That
create
the
these
mental could,
things.
yeah, the mental could very well be that veil that everyone's talking about.
Right. So we create it though, to me. Like I think it all depends on what we just got going on. Like, cause it's like you ever I don't know, it's like when you change, it does feel like the world changes or it feel like you were blind and now you seeing things differently. Like it wasn't really what you thought it was until you think it's something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just gets trippy, y'all. Like it's hard to explain. Like it's so easy to understand within myself. It's just hard to paint that picture and put it in words because it's like anybody else would think it's just you, and maybe it is just me. But technically, that's okay because I'm the only one that can experience what I experience. You can't experience it no matter what I say. Like unless you choose to have that experience, right? And then maybe later on, you be like, "Hey, I know exactly what you're talking about. I think I had the same thing going on." But other than that, it's gonna always be an experience that's very personal
Well,
and
know that.
tailored to just you. And I think that's what makes it kind of like a dope thing though, is because it's like things can go so many different ways, but you do have people that you can share those experiences with and who know what you talk. You know what I'm saying? They go through similar things. And
Right.
so that does provide you a little bit more comfort. Because I don't think there's anything that you've experienced that someone else hasn't. But you know, on this planet, because they like they said, everything's already been done before. So then there's that part.
Mm,
So I don't know. It
I don't
depends.
know.
It depends.
I don't think everything's been done before, but
Well, if you well, it's I can see that though, because if time isn't linear and if time only works depending on where you are at a particular like point of, awareness or consciousness or whatever the case may be, it's hard to see past where you are now, which makes sense. You go crazy if you could think about every life you've ever had, or if you just knew everything. I think it'll take away from life in general. Because half the time you enjoying life because you're discovering certain things, or like if you just knew how to do everything, like what would talent be? You know what I'm saying? Like the things that we enjoy, like would you still enjoy them if you could just do them and be done with them, as opposed to having growth? I think things would just move too fast and it'll get kind of boring.
Mass suicide.
So this why I think I don't know. It's interesting. It's so many different ways that it could go. Like I think that's the fun part about it. But yeah, y'all. But we pretty much just wrapping up this part because that was all I had, y'all. That was the last one. So that was it for today, y'all. And we appreciate the vibes, bro. We appreciate the vibes. And I'm pretty sure I think me and Mr. Curry gonna have some debates on here, bro.
Oh yeah.
I think we're gonna have some debates on here. I just have to remember what the debate is. Like because the only reason why I don't get into it now is because we'll be to go off track from the actual topic.
We will go down the deepest rabbit hole.
And if you've listened to me when I first started the podcast, y'all know I love me a good debate. Y'all know I love a healthy debate. So we probably gonna bring some more debates out for you guys and listen to his mansers.
Yeah.
So yeah, but thank you guys for joining us today for this episode. We appreciate you guys. Love and light to everybody. Mr. Curry, do you have anything?
Wrap it up.
I mean, today was about disease, so yeah, man, wrap it up.
It
Be
was,
safe out there,
yeah.
bro.
Be safe out there.
Oh,
Wrap it up.
and be considerate. Like if you don't wash your hands, or if you type of person like cough when you cough and sneeze, put in your elbow roll in your hand, whatever you got to do. Just
That's what
don't
I'm saying. Ooh,
just don't let it spread. Be
I can't stand when people cough in their hands.
like, bro, be vigilant out here, bro. Like we could solve a lot by just being considerate of others. I ain't telling you what to do with your life. You don't want to wash your hands. Hey, I ain't gonna.
Yeah, I mean that's on you, but think
That's
about
on you.
yourself.
But
Think
don't
about
be out here.
everybody else.
Don't touch nothing, like
Right.
or nobody. Like,
Keep your hands to yourself.
like just be more aware of who you are. If that's who you are, hey, I'm not judging. I'm not passing judgment. Just be considerate of others. Is all we ask.
Right.
But yeah, y'all make sure y'all tune in every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. These episodes be dropping at 4:44. Unless there's a complication, but usually no later than 5ish. So y'all make sure y'all tune in every week. What was oh yeah, and don't forget to follow us on TikTok, y'all, at podcast_it's puddings tea. And we're out.
We out here.